Gonna have to go home and be a family man because I've got Stephano versus NightEnD Game 3, currently a one apiece in a best-of-3 series. This is going to be a clash of the Titans here on Metalopolis, so I'm going to make that happen for you instead. We can play Street Fighter a little bit later on. There's some street fighting going on between these two, I can tell you that for a fact. Here we go, folks. I bring you Millennium Stephano. He is in the pink trunks, as always, playing Zerg to the east of the Metalopolis versus his opponents. Far by ground positions, we've got NightEnD. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the west. These two are really good. Stephano shot to prominence, of course, with his win in IPL 3. Some of us knew about him before that, /hipster. But please remember that NightEnD is amazing. Hasn't really won anything massive to the point where he's shot to fame, but he is consistently winning and performing well in both online and offline events. He can take a game from anybody, he can take a series from anybody, he is at that skill level, so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here. Now, this is what happened. This is why it's currently one apiece. It's currently one apiece because Stephano got a penalty for showing up late to his match. So, unfortunately... Whoa, pause. Okay. That gives me a time to explain. So, unfortunately, Stephano... Alright then. Stephano loses a game due to that. So, NightEnD gets one. Apparently, it's very cold over there in Paris. That's unfortunate. However, Stephano won game 2, which takes the series to one apiece. I can join the club in terms of cold, I tell you. And we shall see what happens in this game. I think blankets are going to be applied, nevertheless. You can get some of those dancers to come over, warm them up a little bit. That'll be good. Actually, it would be highly distracting. Are we ready? Looks like we are. There we go. NightEnD is now warmed up. How wonderful. Alright. Let's see what Stephano decides to do here. It would be unusual, to say the least, to see a hatchery first from him against a player like NightEnD. That would be extremely cocky. Very bad idea. Stephano going pool first, the sensible option. Gateway going down for NightEnD on around 12 supply. Also grabs his assimilator nice and early. Nothing really unusual about that either. Extract coming up for Stephano as well. Stephano, honestly, his ZVP is not his strongest matchup. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's his weakest. He claims it's ZVZ. I don't believe him. He's a liar. Simple as that. I've seen him play ZVZ. His Zerg versus Zerg is absolutely monstrous. His ZVP is not as strong as his ZVT, which is unbelievably good. To the point where he can take pretty much any Terran player at this point. Not reliably, as we've seen, he does lose ZVTs. He actually lost versus the STC at MLG after evidently STC's coach pointed out what was wrong with Stephano's style and how to best exploit it. After mowing down pretty much every Terran he came across, aside from TSL Alive, if I recall correctly, he was the only one. Well, that's a free pylon. Stephano will be very, very happy about that. In the meantime, the question is, what is NightEnD going to do? One sentry coming out. Not really indicative of an expansion just yet. And certainly a possibility. We always tend to see quite a lot of sentries being deployed, especially on this map. It's very important. Very wide, open, natural, very dangerous. The potential for Ling run-bys is always there. Something to consider. Yeah, it's another sentry coming out for NightEnD. See if he decides to put down another gateway. If not, then it will be a one-gate expand. Stephano, on the other hand, simply working on spawning pool and metabolic boost. Expansion already on the way up for him. Yep, we're not seeing anything that... Ooh, early Roach Warren. Simply going for a little bit of a rush here. Won't be a one base. But it's going to give him the ability to apply some pressure. If this ends up being a one-gate expand right here from NightEnD, which is looking extremely likely to be, then I would be a little worried. Interesting that he's taken both gas right there just to keep pumping out those sentries. Look at the amount of minerals that Stephano's already got. Kind of terrifying, isn't it? There we go. NightEnd's got what he needs to take that expand. Now, the sentries will help out against the roaches, but the force fields are going to have to be good, assuming that Stephano decides to go for it. Roach Warren is up, and he's actually just going to hatch again to the gold. Wow, alright. That is gutsy. Admittedly, he knows that his opponent really isn't in a position to pressure it just yet. It was just a one-gate expansion. Only sentries available. Now Roach is on the way. Can still poke at him. Do some damage. Sentries don't do so well against roaches, honestly, in a straight-up firefight. 6 roaches on the way right here for Stephano. If Stephano were to win this game with 6 or 7 roaches, then I would be impressed. 4 gateways coming for NightEnd to follow that one up. So always the possibility of pressure right there, and as soon as he finds out that Stephano's taken that goal, he'll no doubt want to throw down on that as much as possible. NightEnd, however, tries to deploy a proxy pylon at the 3rd, and no. Easily eliminated. Roach and Ling on the way up right now for Stephano. He has not been producing drones for quite some time. He's been going pure units. He's going to try and get a nice and early kill on NightEnd. However, NightEnd just finished all 4 gateways, about to be 5. So he's got quite a lot of capability to repel this, particularly with the amount of sentries he's got. Also note the base design. NightEnd has created this blockade here, makes that ramp extremely difficult to attack. The only place the Lings can really hit is here, and that's exactly where they're going to be going. NightEnd's going to have to get these force fields off pretty well. It's a lot of units he's got to throw back right here. Stephano just flanking around, trying to snipe off a couple of units here and there, which he is able to do. Force fields do go down, and that's everything pulled off the mineral line. Already fairly effective in terms of the harassment there. 8 drones coming up behind this as well for Stephano. He is macroing under this particular assault. Now trying to get into that mineral line. Another force field used by NightEnd. And pressure coming down on those gates as well. Unfortunately, no way to knock off the power for these. He can't reach that pylon at the back there, but he can take that warp gate for free. Not enough units for NightEnd. Stephano's simply going to leave it there. Interesting. And weird. What is he doing? I'm trying to see if there's like a proxy pylon or something that he's reacting to, but he's not. He's just moving back? What? He could have killed that gateway. Maybe he leaves it there because otherwise NightEnd would pounce on him after that. I don't know. That is curious. Anyway, whatever the case. A couple of spine crawlers coming up with the gold right here for Stephano. This is the income comparison. Stephano pulling it in quite nicely. Droning up very heavily behind this, but he's still got a reasonable defensive force. NightEnd on 5 gateways, looking for 5 gateways and then robotics facility. Considering what he's up against, throwing an immortal or 2 in the mix would not be a bad idea. Stephano attempting to deny any attempts to grab a 3rd. Seems to be doing so fairly well. Hallucination coming out for NightEnd. Interesting choice, considering that he also got a robotics. Indicates to me, well, he's going to get Observer and Hallucination. That's odd, so we'll see what kind of tactic he's willing to put out here. There's a Roach speed coming up for Stephano. Drone count is looking pretty good for Stephano, though not as good as it could be, honestly. NightEnd sitting on 50 probes, only 43 drones available for Stephano, who is taking his 4th now. There's the cancellation on that Vespene Geyser, deciding that he simply does not need it. Now, the question is, what's Stephano going to do? Is he simply going to hang around on 4 bases? I would. Hang around on 4 bases, max out. Try and harass the 3rd if possible. Stephano's already fairly ahead economically. NightEnd now scouting out that he still hasn't seen the goal. That's a fairly critical thing. Perhaps he's thinking that's a really late expo. That would be an unwise assumption. There we go. Another scouting hallucinated Phoenix is able to scout out that gold, and suddenly NightEnd is thinking, oh my, I really need to pressure that. But Stephano's got ideas of his own. He's going to get some pressure on himself. Wants to bring down that Nexus, and yep, NightEnd is too far away to respond to that. That's a nice denial there. Stephano shuts that down with ease. Not remotely concerned, is he? Absolutely not. There's a lot of force fields used right there, and NightEnd thrown back to 2 bases, whereas 4 bases available for Stephano. And now Stephano pressuring from the top. And he... Oh, no! The Ling run by. NightEnD completely out of position. Stephano ripping his way through this mineral line, trying to bring down the box facility as well. If that goes down before the Colossus comes out, GG.